A huge descent began, a giant fall, for what the spirit sees creates a truth, and what the soul imagines is made a world.
It's, I've never seen this before from any other writer or poet or anything, that what the spirit sees creates a truth,
Mhm.
and what the soul imagines is made into a world.
Mm.
It's incredible. So, if our soul imagines that we are going to live 100 years or
Mm.
more,
Mm.
it's made a world.
Mm.
But our spirit has to see, and that spirit having to see means the psychic being has to lead us in all that we do. It has to be right in front of our consciousness,
Mm.
not this mind, not the vital, not the body, but the soul, or as Mother calls it. Mother created that term, psychic being,
Yeah.
make, making the clear distinction between the soul, which is eternal and
Yeah.
does not take human birth,
Yeah.
but stays over the the manifestation,
Yeah.
and the psychic being which participates in the inner progress of the being.
Mm.
So now we have a big thing here. We have thought, and I don't think we've done thought.
No.
So there's a lot in thought. But read some lines first to the
Yeah.
people.
So I will once again read from the top because I just noticed the recording just started, and then I will read until eternal time.
Sure.
A huge descent began, a giant fall, for what spirit sees creates a truth, and what the soul imagines is made a world. A thought that leaped from the timeless can become indicator of cosmic consequence and the itinerary of the
Iti-
gods
it-
itinerary and
itin- itinerary.
the itinerary of the gods, a cyclic movement in eternal time.
Let's try to get itinerary better.
Itinerary.
Itinerary. Itinerary.
Itinerary.
So if we beat it, and the itinerary of the gods.
Itinerary.
Good. Good.
Okay. I have noticed that, when you give me the beats, I get it sooner. So last
Very.
time also it was
And
like this.
I'll remember to do that. Yes. Good.
Itinerary.
Itinerary. Exactly. An
Okay.
itinerary. That's a list of the things that we have to do.
Yeah.
Good. So now you'll go into thought, huh? And there's
Yeah.
quite very good.
Okay. Thought. Thought in itself, in its origin on the higher levels of consciousness, is a perception, a cognitive seizing of the object or of some truth of things, which is the powerful but still a minor and secondary result of spiritual vision, a comparatively external and superficial regard of the self upon the self, the subject upon itself, or something of itself as object.
So Sri Aurobindo is very clear to us about thought here.
Hmm.
On the higher levels of consciousness, it is a perception,
Hmm.
and it's a cognitive seizing. Now you have to get you and some of the others keep saying ceasing. It's not ceasing. That would be CEASING.
Okay.
To cease, to stop something. This is to seize, seize,
Mhm.
seizing, grabbing it,
Seize,
seizing.
seizing.
Very good, very good. So the thought can seize cognitively
Hmm.
something of the truth of things, but it's still a minor result because spiritual vision is the correct way, the perfect way to see anything.
Mm.
Spiritual vision.
Mm.
And so he says thought is still comparatively external and superficial. Uh,
Mm.
the look of the self upon the self and the subject upon itself, etc., etc. Spiritual vision is the way.
Mm.
Thought is the secondary result of that.
Okay. A thought is an arrow shot at the truth. It can hit a point, but not cover the whole target. But the archer is too well satisfied with his success to ask anything farther.
With his
Oh,
success, huh?
with his success, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All living thought is a world in preparation. All real act is a thought manifested.
Wow.
Mm. Thought is not essential to existence, nor its cause,
Mm.
but it is an instrument for becoming. I become what I see in myself. All that thought suggests to me, I can do. All that thought reveals in me, I can become. This should be man's unshakable faith in himself, because God dwells in him.
Couldn't be a more powerful statement, huh?
Yeah. Mm.
Whatever your thoughts suggest to you, you can do.
Mm.
Whatever it real reveals in yourself, you can become.
Yeah.
So if there is some revelation in you, some understanding that I am so and so in this life, you can become that.
Hmm.
And if Mother says that you are the divine in this life, then you can become the divine.
Yeah. So beautiful.
That's what she tells us.
Yeah.
Good. God dwells in us.
In reality, thought is only a scout and pioneer. It can guide but not command or effectuate.
Hmm.
But there is another kind of thought that springs out as if it were a body or form of the experience or of the consciousness involved in it, or of a part of that consciousness. And this does not seem to me to be intellectual in its character. It has another light, another power in it, a sense within the sense.
And that is probably what he's explaining here to a disciple, these higher realms of
Yeah,
thought,
yeah. And
illumination
today,
or intuition.
yeah, today was reading from Synthesis on the yoga of self perfection, the perfection of mental being. So here he just starts, and it is so. I'm always like so surprised, like how synchronously my reading comes with what I
Uh,
read, and then what I read on Savitri and the explanation that I read. So today I was reading mental being, and here I'm reading further on thought.
Excellent, excellent. Hmm.
Our thoughts are not really created within ourselves, independently in the small, narrow thinking machine we call our mind. In fact, they come to us from a vast mental space or
Ether.
ether, either as mind waves or waves of mind force that carry a significance which takes shape in our personal mind, or as thought formations, ready made, which we adopt and call ours. Our outer mind is blind to this process of nature, but by the awakening of the inner mind, we can become aware of it.
It's very,
This
very
this
interesting.
is very much in line with what I was saying, like what he speaks in this my
Yeah.
perfection of mental being, where he says that uh, the three intuitions, where when we step back into the manomaya purusha, and he says like it can come through three intuitions. One is the intuition of the sakshi, the awareness, and then it's the I think the second, how he was saying, is that connection with that presence of the mental being, and knowing that you are higher. And then the third is you are even higher than all of this, higher than the mind, the body, and the life. So we come into that experience, is what he says, when we fully like reach there.
And this problem of sadness, grief, and suffering that enters us from
Mm.
those planes.
Yeah,
It is not our.
yeah,
And it's very difficult to really to imagine this. It's difficult because basically we identify with people who are suffering and people who have died,
yeah,
but it's only coming from outside into us.
yeah.
That grief is not in us. Why? Because we are perfect and beautiful and godlike in ourselves.
Mm.
So we allow it to come in, and I did that for many years.
Yeah.
Many years.
Mm.
When a beloved dies, it's, you know, when we read about death, it was so clear that we shouldn't grieve.
Yeah.
When you have that human closeness, you
It's
know,
difficult.
you
Yeah.
allow you allow the grief to come in to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And not only when the death of the closed ones, like now I'm experiencing of a death of somebody close to me, and the other person is so close to them. So that's also affecting us. It's
Yes,
so tricky.
very tricky,
Yeah.
very subtle.
Yeah, very sudden. Yeah.
Okay.
That is the way things come. Only one does not notice. Thoughts, ideas, happy inventions, etc., etc., are always wandering about in thought waves or otherwise, seeking a mind that may embody them. One mind takes, looks, rejects; another takes, looks, accepts. Two different minds catch the same thought form or thought wave, but the mental activities being different make different results out of them. Or it can, or it comes to one and he does nothing, then it walks off saying, "Oh, this unready animal," and goes to another who promptly welcomes it and settles into the expression with a joyous bubble of inspiration, illumination or enthusiasm of original discovery or creation, and the recipient cries proudly, "I, I have done it." Ego, sir, ego. You are the recipient, the conditioning medium, if you like, nothing more.
Wow. Wow. So this is very interesting when I think about poetry.
Yeah.
The poetry is coming from a muse somewhere
Mm.
in those upper regions.
Yeah.
And if you are not receiving it with the ego,
Mm.
then you can be an effective instrument for bringing it down.
Mm.
Whether it's poetry or writing or music or art, anything like that, if you're
Mm.
receptive and you don't have that ego aspect, you just realize you're the recipient,
Mm.
and it can keep coming down.
Mm.
But you have to open to it with
Yeah.
humility and
Yeah.
gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thought unexpressed can also go out as forces and produce their effects. It is a mistake to think that a thought or will can have effect only when it is expressed in speech or act. The unspoken thought, The unexpressed will are also active energies and produce their own vibrations, effects, or reactions.
Interesting statement. Very,
Yeah,
very profound, huh? That
and
a
he
thought,
makes it so
uh,
clear.
yes, yes. If you think an evil thought about someone, it has an effect.
Exactly. I was also thinking the same. It's just that not only the how he says in the earlier one where it's a joyous bubble of inspiration, but also the sadness or the negative thoughts or whatever it is, it also goes and does its work. So
Absolutely.
it's so important um, to think positive, and like the past 2 3 days what I've been experiencing is not even to just think positive, but how I've heard you say and others say how mother would just keep chanting, and how even her
Yes.
every cell would chant.
Yeah.
So so it was difficult for me to control my thoughts, so I just went to mantra.
Good. Very good.
So because otherwise the mind is going everywhere, so I had to anchor it somewhere, and I was like, mother, I can only do it mantras now. So yeah, it's yeah. Anyways, thought can be a force which realizes itself, but the ordinary surface thinking is not of that kind. There is in it more waste of energy than in anything else. It is in the thought that comes in a quiet or silent mind that there is power.
Oh, how beautiful, huh?
Yeah. Thought is not the giver of knowledge, but the mediator between the inconscient and the superconscient. It compels the world born from the inconscient to reach for a knowledge other than the indistinctive vital or merely empirical, for the knowledge that itself exceeds thought. It calls for that superconscious knowledge and prepares the consciousness here to receive.
So thought
Thought,
can be a very good thing also,
yeah, yeah,
but it has to be the right kind of thought, huh?
yeah, yeah,
Calling for the higher always,
yes.
rather than the instinctive vital or the empirical.
Mhm.
Good. Last one.
Thought is quite possible without words. Children have thoughts, animals too. Thoughts can take another form than words. Thought perceptions come first. Language comes to express the perceptions and itself leads to fresh thoughts.
Here he gives us the whole clue about language, huh?
Hmm.
Language comes only to express these thought perceptions.
Hmm.
And that itself leads to more thoughts, to
Yeah.
fresh thoughts. He says, fresh thoughts. Wow, how beautiful. So we can go a little bit more.
Or yeah. Thus, we stop at the break, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
Thus,
the break? Where's the break? Thus came.
this, uh, no, the break at the middle of not even middle, a little before Ashwapati speaks.
Got it. A vast
The
disguise.
vast disguise, yeah.
Very good.
Thus came, born from a blind, tremendous choice, this great, perplexed, and discontented world,
Yes.
this haunt of ignorance, this home of pain. There are pitched desires, tents, grief's headquarters. A vast disguise conceals the eternal bliss.
This is a difficult line because it's there are pitched. In that place, desires tents are pitched.
Hmm.
Grief's headquarters.
Hmm.
So normally we would say there are pitched, but it's there are pitched.
Hmm.
That in that place, desires tents are pitched.
Okay.
What is that place? That place is
Is
haunted
grief.
This
Yeah.
the home of pain, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. See, we have to go so slowly when we read Savitri because we can miss those things.
Mm.
So, thus came, born from a blind, tremendous choice, a tremendous choice. This world, this great, discontented and perplexed world, this haunt of ignorance, this home of pain. Now, we've done ignorance before, I believe,
Yes. Yes.
and we've done time also,
We
right?
have done time also. Pain, I'm not sure. Let me quickly have a look.
Yeah, and there's not much pain on pain, but it would be good if we haven't done it to do it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful statements here from on pain.
Pain is a key that opens the gate of strength. It is the high road that leads to the city of beatitude.
Mm, mm,
Pain is caused because the physical consciousness in the ignorance is too limited to bear the touches that come upon it. Otherwise, to cosmic consciousness in its state of complete knowledge and complete experience, all touches come as Ananda.
wow.
I'll read that again. Pain is caused because the physical consciousness in the ignorance is too limited to bear the touches that comes upon it. Otherwise, to cosmic consciousness, in its state of complete knowledge and complete experience, all touches come as Ananda.
Yes, but it is the cosmic consciousness being in a state of complete knowledge and
Mm-hmm.
complete experience
Yeah,
that touches come as Ananda. It
yeah,
doesn't to us yet.
yeah.
We're not there yet.
Pain and grief are nature's reminder to the soul that the pleasure it enjoys is only a feeble hint of the real delight of existence. In each pain and torture of our being, sorry, in each pain and torture of our being is the secret of a flame of, I'm not getting it. I'll read from top. Pain and grief are nature's reminder to the soul that the pleasure it enjoys is only a feeble hint of the real delight of existence. In each pain and torture of our being is the secret of a flame of, okay, I got it now. In
Right?
each pain and torture of our being is the secret of a flame of rapture compared with which our greatest pleasures are only as dim flickerings.
So he says a little bit more. He says about this haunt of ignorance and this home of pain and this great perplexed and discontented world. Here is the place where desire's tents
Mm,
pitched. When you pitch a tent, you hammer in the stakes
yeah.
and you put the poles up,
Yeah.
and so that place is the headquarters of grief. And then he has a full stop there.
Yeah.
And it says a disguise
Mm,
seals the eternal bliss.
yeah.
So we have to unveil that disguise.
Guys. Yeah.
You say something that I've heard Kitu Reddy and other people say too, etc. It is not etc. It's et cetera.
Etc.
It's not x. It's et.
Etc.
It's etc. etc.
Etc.
Don't get the x in there. Etc.
Etc.
That's it.
Etc.
Etc. etc.
Etc. Etc.
Yeah, now you got it perfect.
Okay. I think it's the Indian, we are always saying it's a wrong pronunciation that we are used to.
But
Um,
we're making good progress. So you
yes,
want to from the beginning,
yes, yes. Just a
and
few
then we'll
lines.
close it out today. Hmm?
A
Wonderful.
huge, a huge descent began, a giant fall. For what the spirit sees creates a truth, and what the soul imagines is made a world. A thought that leaped from the timeless can become indicator of cosmic consequence, and the
I,
of
itinerary.
itinerary of the itinerary of the
No,
gods.
itinerary. I and then tin and then arary. Itinerary.
And the itinerary of the gods, a cyclic movement in eternal time. Thus came, born from blind, tremendous choice, this great, perplexed, and discontented world, this haunt of ignorance, this home of pain. There are pitched desire's tents, grief's headquarters. A vast disguise conceals the eternal's bliss.
So it's there are pitched. Not there are pitched, but there
There are
in,
pitched.
in that place
Yeah, understood.
desires tents are pitched.
Yeah.
In this home of pain, this haunt of ignorance, this great perplexed and discontented world. There, in that place, desire's tents and grief's headquarters are pitched.
Hmm.
And why? Because a vast disguise conceals the eternal bliss.
Eternal.
We had a good session today.
Yes.
Very,
Yes.
and I'm happy to see you smiles so
Thank,
beautiful.
thank you
Okay.
so much.
Namaste.
Namaste, Narad.
See you on Thursday.